Hey, happy Sunday. It's September 14th, 2025. I've got two immigration stories that have been sticking with me this week, and I wanted to share them like I would with friends over coffee. Both are about how rules and enforcement are starting to bite people in everyday ways. Students, researchers, factory workers, travelers. So grab a cup and let's chat. First thing, visa rules in the US shifted again this year, and it's creating headaches for students and young professionals. The core of it is officials are pushing toward more fixed terms for F and J visas. Think set lengths, commonly up to 4 years. For a PhD student or a researcher who's on campus for 8 years, that means more renewals, more trips back home, more paperwork. The practical result is extra time, extra cost, and more uncertainty. On top of that, USCIS reported the H-1B cap for FY 2026 filled back on July 18th. And there's a proposed system to favor higher salaries in the selection process. So jobs that pay more would have a better shot at being chosen, which could squeeze lower-paid specialty roles and early career positions. And to add another wrinkle, the State Department has ended most interview waivers and now generally expects applicants to apply in their home countries. That means interviews at embassies, travel to another country in some cases, and longer wait times. What I keep thinking about is the small, personal stuff. A student who's finishing a master's and counting on OPT, or someone who accepted a postdoc and suddenly has to build extra travel and interview time into their start date. If you're in that spot, the simplest moves are to apply as early as you can, keep your documents organized, and mentally build in extra time for interview scheduling and potential travel. If an employer is involved, push them to be realistic about start dates and backup plans. Now, the second story is pretty explosive and has international fallout. On September 4th, ICE raided a Hyundai battery plant in Georgia and detained 475 workers. Reportedly, about 300 of those detained were South Korean nationals. What's caught everyone's attention is that many of those people had B1 or B2 visas, visitor or business entry visas, which are not generally work authorizations. That raises hot questions. Were people actually employed under the wrong visa categories? Were they misinformed about what their visas allowed? Or were enforcement actions sweeping up people who weren't supposed to be targeted? The result has been a diplomatic rift. South Korean officials and citizens are upset. You've seen calls for people to reconsider travel to the US and even talk about boycotting travel. That kind of reaction could slow tourism and investment if it keeps going. Beyond the headlines, think about the human side again. People separated from families, workers who suddenly have legal uncertainty, and communities worried about whether they're safe when they travel or work abroad. Both stories are connected in a way. Tightened rules and aggressive enforcement create uncertainty that affects real lives and can ripple into geopolitics. Whether it's changing visa terms and selection rules that shift career plans, or a mass detention that strains relations between countries, the common thread is unpredictability for people trying to build their lives. I don't have easy fixes, but I do have a couple of practical notes. If you're studying, hiring, or planning travel, start earlier than you think you need to and keep copies of everything. If you're an employer, be clear with international hires about timelines and risks. And if you're watching the Hyundai situation, expect more diplomatic pushback and that travel or business patterns could be affected for a while. Alright, that's the update I wanted to pass along. If you want the sources and a deeper write-up, I pulled these stories from visaverge.com. I'll check in next time with anything new. Have a good Sunday, take care of yourselves, and tell your friends who might be impacted to get their paperwork in order early.